Unit 2, Lesson 1, Example B. In this example, we'll look at how we can use unit analysis to convert in the air when you have volume, measurements of volume. So volume units are given actually in cubic units. So if you think about it, if you were measuring like the volume of a cube, you would have length times width times height. So it's three-dimensional. And so if they were measured in, let's say, feet, the volume is given in cubic feet because cubing is the word we use for third dimension or multiplying something by itself 3 times, the exponent of 3. So we could also abbreviate that cubic feet, or this time it would be the exponent of 3 feet cubed. You can also use the unity fraction method, which again is another name for unit analysis, to convert among measures of volume. So just to kind of emphasize, area, remember, is squared units. Remember that the formula for area is length times width, so it's two-dimensional, which is why we have an exponent of 2. But volume, the formula for volume is length times width times height. So it is three-dimensional, which means our exponent will be to the third power. Again, watch out because you must find the unknown conversion factor before you can use it in unit analysis. Whoops, this is supposed to be find. All right, so let's look at an example. In this example, we have 940 cubic inches. So remember, we can write those units like this. And this time we want cubic yards, which would be yards cubed. So somehow we've got to go from inches cubed to yards cubed. Well, if you go back to our conversion factor chart, we don't really have cubic inches or cubic yards, but we do have inches to feet, and then we can go from feet to yards. So we're going to pick up 2 conversion factors for this. All right, so our path is going to be from inches cubed to feet cubed to yards cubed. And the conversion factors we're going to use, we're going to have to build. So the first one, we're going to build from 12 inches again is equal to 1 foot. In the previous example, we squared both sides. But in this case, since we're dealing with volume, which is three-dimensional, we're going to cube both sides or raise both sides to the third power. So we have 12 inches times 12 inches times 12 inches, and that's equal to 1 foot times 1 foot times 1 foot. So 1 times 1 times 1 is still 1. So that's 1 cubic foot. But 12 times 12 times 12 is actually 1,728. And that's cubic inches. So that's one conversion factor, that 1,728 cubic inches is equal to 1 cubic foot. We also need another conversion factor, and that is based off the fact that 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. So again, since I'm dealing in the third dimension, I'm going to raise both of these conversion factors to the third power, and that's going to give me 1 cubic yard, and 3 times 3 times 3 is actually 27 cubic feet. So 1 times 1 times 1 is still 1, but then 3 times 3 times 3 gives you 27. So we have 27 feet cubed is equal to 1 yard cubed. All right, so now that we have our conversion factors, we're going to build our string. So our unit analysis string, we're going to start with what we were given. So that's 940 inches cubed over 1. And this time we're going to need 2 more fractions. So if we look at which one of these we're going to use next, it has to have cubic inches in it. So this is the one I'm going to pick up next, and the cubic inches will go in the bottom. So 1,728 inches cubed and 1 foot cubed. And then I can put this one next. And since feet cubed are in the top of this fraction, I'll put the 27 feet cubed in the bottom of the next one. And then 1 yard cubed on the top. So now doing the math, we're going to do top times top times top. So 940 times 1 is 940. On the bottom, you're going to do 1 times 1,728 times 27, and that actually gives us 46,656. So I did 940 times 1, and on the bottom I did 1 times 1728 times 27. Now, as far as units go, the inches cubed are gone, the cubic feet are gone, and I'm left with yards cubed, which is what I wanted, so I'm in good shape. And now in my calculator, I'm going to do 940 divided by 46656, and that gives you 0.020147 . So I need to look at my directions. They want us to round to the nearest hundredth. So that's going to be 2 decimal places. So that's the 2. So I look next door. That number is not 5 or bigger, so it stays 2. So this would be 0.02, and that's going to be yards cubed. And that's your answer. Now going back real quick, remember that we're going now from something smaller to something bigger, so our number is smaller than we started with. Whereas in example 1, we were going from feet to inches. That's bigger to smaller, so it will take more of the smaller unit to give you the bigger unit. So I think my answers make sense.